Today we are going to discuss about working casts and dies. So whenever we want to do a restoration in the oral cavity, we have to prepare the tooth, and what we do is we make an impression of the prepared tooth. Whenever it is a single restoration like a single crown or a inlay or an onlay, or even if we are going for a veneer, all the preparations has to be recorded, or it has to be made in an impression, and which has to be replaced by a material which will give you a positive replica. And basically the positive replica which you get, you will send it to the lab, and the lab people will be fabricating the restoration on the cast which you are going to provide. Nowadays we are in the era of digital dentistry, and because of this digital dentistry we can make casts without making an impression by the use of digital scanners. Directly from the mouth we can scan the area which is needed, or the prepared tooth, or the areas of the preparation, and it can be sent directly as digital files to the lab, so that the lab persons can make a cast or a digital impression of the cast in the computer. So this is the advancement which we are having in the CAD/CAM technology. Here today we are going to discuss about the casts which we make directly from the impression. So these casts which are made for the fabrication of the restoration are known as the cast, and each portion of the cast is separated, and it can be taken from the cast and can be replaced, and these portions which are taken out from the cast can be used for making the wax patterns and all, and this portion of the cast which is used for making a restoration as such is known as a die. So let's go into the subject matter. A die is a positive replica of the individual prepared tooth on which the margins of the wax patterns are finished. Here in the picture you can see two casts. One cast, it is a directly from the impression. You can see there is no preparation done on the cast as such, but in the second picture you can see the cast is split into various portions, so that the prepared tooth can be removed from the cast as such. So basically a die, it is the positive replica of the individual prepared tooth on which the margins of the wax pattern and the wax pattern is finished on that. So the advantage of this die is that it can be taken out, and each restoration can be fabricated individually in a separate manner. So let's see what is a working cast. So as I told earlier, the cast is the one which we get directly from the impression, or it is the positive replica of what is there in the oral cavity. So it is a replica of the prepared tooth, the ridge area, and other parts of the dental arch. It is obtained from the final impression and on which the wax pattern is made. So what we have to keep in mind is that whatever preparation you do in the mouth, or with whatever professionalism you are doing the preparation, the type of margins or the taper of the preparation or the surfaces of the preparation, if it is not prepared properly in your impression, it is not going to get in your cast also. So the maximum coverage and maximum receiving of what is there in the oral cavity is the need of the hour. And let's see what are the requirements of a good working cast. The first one is that it must reproduce all the details captured in the impression. So the cast, even if we do the preparation, all the prepared areas and some more area from the oral cavity has to be obtained in the impression. Again, what is obtained in the impression has to be there in the cast also, and it must be free of any air bubbles. So usually what happens is that whenever we pour the impression, there are chances of air bubbles entrapping inside, and the air bubbles will form as small depressions in the cast which will you get. So it must be free from air bubbles, especially at the area of the finish line and the occlusal surface area, because these are the areas which are of utmost importance, because if you are having any irregularity because of these air bubbles in the marginal area, it is going to affect the restoration's final outcome. So it must be free from any distortion. So we know the different types of impression materials are having different properties. Some materials has to be poured immediately, some materials can be kept for a longer period of time, and some materials can be poured repeatedly, and all these properties are varying from material to material. So there are chances for distortion which may occur in these impression materials also. So the impression should be distortion free, and it has to capture all the details, and the cast which is made out of this impression should be an accurate one of what is there in the oral cavity. And it should be trimmed at the margins of the prepared tooth, so that it should ensure access of carving of the wax pattern. So if you are having a definite margin, like when you are doing on the finish line, then only you will be able to identify where exactly you have to limit your wax pattern, or till what extent you have to extend the wax pattern. Even if the wax pattern if not prepared properly on the cast, your restoration is going to be a failure. So the restoration has to be up to the prepared area or the marginal area for the longevity of the restoration. And it should allow precise articulation in the sense, if you are taking it out for your working procedures, again when you replace it back on the cast, it has to be in the proper position. And let's see what are the different requirements of the die. As I told, die is the portion of the cast which is basically made for the fabrication of the restoration, and it must reproduce the prepared tooth exactly, so that whatever there is there in the mouth is reproduced and it can be utilized correctly for the fabrication of the prosthesis. And the die should be free from any air bubbles, and there shouldn't be any voids or any defects which are possible to occur in the cast. And it must return to the exact position on the cast when it is removed. So for doing the wax pattern and for doing the preparation and all, we should be able to remove it from the mouth, and we should be able to place it back in the mouth, and it should be stable even when the cast is inverted. So after doing the articulation procedure, we may have to take it out of the articulator and place it back. When it is placed it back in the articulator, we will be keeping it in an inverted position also. And keep in mind that at that time the die should not come off from the cast when it is inverted. That is an important thing which you have to keep in mind. And the types of dies according to the different materials which are used to fabricate includes the stone dies, the electroplated dies, the resin dies, the amalgam dies, the flexible dies, and metal spray dies. These are the different types of materials. The two critical properties of the die materials are the dimensional stability or the accuracy and the abrasion resistance during the construction of the wax pattern. So the die has to be dimensionally stable. So when you make a die, it has to be stable till you are making the restoration out of it. So the material has to be stable for a longer period of time, so that you can prepare the wax pattern and the restoration out of that. And these materials should have good abrasion resistance, so that when it is removed from the cast and replaced, or when the wax pattern is made on that, or whenever you are doing something on the dies, it shouldn't get abraded. So we have seen that the different materials which are used for this includes the stone dies, that is the your regular dental stone or the die stone which you are having, which is used to make the dies from your restoration or from your impression which you are taking in the. Then you have electroplated dies. Here what we do is that we make the impression, and the impression is electroplated using silver plated dies, and or it can be made as electroplated dies using copper. And we are having another material which are resins. These resins can also be used to make dies. Again, we can use amalgam material. Amalgam can be packed into this impression area, and when it gets set, it can be used as a die. Then we are having different flexible materials. These materials also can be used as dies for fabrication of indirect restorations. Again, we are having something which is known as the metal sprayed dies also. So these are the different types of materials we are having for the fabrication of dies. That includes the stone dies, electroplated dies, resin dies, amalgam, flexible dies, metal spray dies, and all. Let's see what are the ideal requirements of the die system. It should be able to be removed and replaced in the original position. That is, it should be able to be removed and replaced in the original position. So we know that the die is made from the cast. It is a portion of the cast or the prepared tooth or the prepared portion of the tooth which is separated from the cast, and it is used for the fabrication of the restoration. So it should be able to be removed and replaced in the original position, and it must be stable in the cast. So when it is replaced in its original position, it should not move from one side to another side, or there shouldn't be any millimeters of movement, so that the restoration will be having a distortion, or they will be having a fit which is less than that. So it should be easy to mount in the articulator also. Then the two types of dies are the working cast with separate die system and the working cast with removable die system. The working cast with a separate die system and the working cast with removable die system. Here we are having the double pin system, which is the straight one, and we are having a curved one also, and we are having the die lock system and pindex system. So the working cast with separate die system. Here two casts are poured from the same impression, and one cast is sectioned and is used as the die. The other is not sectioned and is used as the working cast. This is a simple and easy method, and the wax pattern may get distorted in this technique. That is one of the drawbacks of this technique. Individual dies can be removed and replaced in the same position in the cast. Double pins may be straight or curved. Straight double pin systems uses pre-pour and post-pour technique. Die lock tray system. This is a different type of a system where you are having a locking system for the tray. Uses a special tray to pour the cast. The tray is made of multiple components which can be assembled or dismantled as required. So here in the picture you can see the die lock system where the pieces of the dies can be separated and it can be reassembled in the tray itself. This is the double system. We are having the straight pins and you are having the curved double pins. The straight pins are supported over the impression with the use of bobby pins, whereas curved pins which are placed also of the same type, and in the diagram you can see a cross-sectional view of the curved pins. Now we have the pindex system, and it consists of a drilling machine with a platform over which the cast is placed, and a laser pointer is used to locate the position of the drill holes to be made. And these are the techniques by which we use a working cast and a die for the patient. എന്തോ വെയിറ്റ് ഞാൻ വിളിക്കാം. ഹലോ, ലക്ഷ്മി എവിടെ ഉണ്ട്? ആ, ഇത് ഉണ്ടോ? ഇത് നോക്കിക്കേ, ആയോ ഒന്ന്. ഏതാ? അതാണോ? അതല്ലല്ലോ, ആയിക്കോ.
നേരത്തെ
ആണോ?
Hello, good morning. Today I am going to be speaking about working cast and dice.
ഹലോ, ആ പറ. ആ ശരി. അതെന്തുവാണ്? ആ ശരി ശരി ശരി. ഏതാ? അവിടെ ഏതൊക്കെയാ ഉള്ളത്? ആ, ഓൺ 6 ഇല്ലേ? ഓൺ 6 ഇല്ലേ? നിറ്റി ഉണ്ടല്ലോ. ആ അത് മതി. ആ, ഓൺ 6 SS ഉണ്ടോ? ശരി. ആ ശരി, ഓക്കെ. അതിതാവുന്നില്ല, അതിന് വേറെ വല്ലയിടത്ത് വന്നോ? അത് റീസൺസിലല്ലേ കട. ഡേക്ക് വാ. ഹലോ, വാ. എന്തുവായിരുന്നു? ആ ഇയാടെ എന്തുവാ? ഇയാള് ഏത് ഇയറാ? ഓക്കെ, പേരെന്തുവാ? സാം. വല്ല ടോപ്പിക്ക് വല്ല നോക്കിയായിരുന്നോ? ആ, അതെങ്ങനെയാ ലക്ഷ്മി ടോപ്പിക്ക് എടുക്കുന്നത്? നിങ്ങളൊരു ടോപ്പിക്ക് നോക്കിയിട്ടേ ആലോചിച്ചിട്ട് ഒരു ടോപ്പിക്ക് 1-2 ടോപ്പിക്സ് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചിട്ട് വാ, നമുക്ക് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാം. ഇപ്പം നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ക്ലാസ് ഇല്ലയോ? ആ, അപ്പോൾ നോക്കിയിട്ട് അതിൻ്റെ എന്ന് വരെ അതിൻ്റെ ഡേറ്റ്? ആ, ഇന്നിപ്പോൾ 29 നോക്കി. ഇന്ന് തന്നെ ഏതെങ്കിലും 1-2 ടോപ്പിക്കേ ഒന്ന് കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചിട്ട് കൊണ്ടുപോകാം, നമുക്ക് നോക്കാം. പേരെന്തോ? സാം. എവിടെയാണ് വീട്? കൊട്ടാരക്കര എവിടെ? ശരി.
നമുക്ക് ഇനി പോർഷൻ വെച്ച് ചെയ്യാം സാർ. അപ്പോൾ സാറിന് റെക്കോർഡ് ആവുന്നുണ്ടോ ഇല്ലയോ എന്നുള്ളത് കറക്റ്റായിട്ട്
കാണാൻ പറ്റും.
ഞാൻ കാണിച്ചത് ഇവിടെ കിടക്കുന്നു. അതൊക്കെ പഴക്കം.
ഡിലേറ്റ് ആവാത്തത് ഇതൊരു കോംപ്ലിക്കേറ്റഡ് സിസ്റ്റമായി മാക്കിൻ്റെ.
എനിക്ക് ഇതിനെക്കുറിച്ച് യാതൊരു ഐഡിയ ഇല്ല. എൻ്റെ ലാപ്പ് എനിക്ക് PPT ഏതാ സർ? ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നല്ലോ, ഇതല്ലേ PPT? സാർ ഇപ്പൊ തന്നെ പറയൂ,
ഏ
കുഴപ്പമില്ലേ, പറയൂ.
ആ പറയാം. പിന്നെ ഇപ്പം എല്ലാം കൂടെ ഒന്ന് സെറ്റായി.
ഈ പോർഷൻ മാത്രം റെക്കോർഡ് ആവത്തക്ക രീതിയിൽ
അങ്ങനെ വെച്ചാൽ എന്തുവാ, ഇന്നത് കാണാൻ പറ്റുമോ?
ആ സാറിന് കാണാൻ പറ്റും. ഇതിപ്പോഴും റെക്കോർഡ് ആയിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുക. അതാ സാർ.
ആണോ?
ആ സാർ സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ചെയ്തില്ല.